right, Liana, Tanya, great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining me. Excited to be working with you on the lower school division director search. As you both know, we had another video, a chance to talk with Tanya and Virginia about Live Oak's overall community and culture and their backgrounds. Liana, want to give you a chance to talk to folks about your background, what drew you to Live Oak, and a bit about your role at the school.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gabe. I have been in education my whole career. I am passionate about being an educator who meets students where they are and really nurtures their curiosity and their inquiry and their investigations of the world. So, I would say like the big part of my career that really led me to Live Oak prior to being here was I worked for 12 years in informal science education at a museum in San Francisco called the Exploratorium, which is all about art, science, and human perception. And that really sort of shaped who I am as an educator. Working in a museum is an incredible experience. But I would say the one thing that really helped me find Live Oak as my place to be was a desire to work with the same kids over time, to see their growth, to see their trajectory, and to see like how they grow as curious science learners. And so I started looking at schools in particular, but what really drew me to Live Oak specifically was actually Live Oak's mission, vision, and values. I was really looking for an organization that aligned with my values as an educator and really around the idea of supporting students to be change makers who can contribute to the world and make it a better place, and really aligned with my beliefs around justice in education and what it means to be a progressive organization that is really supporting people to shape their world for good. And so that's what brought me here. And then,
Yeah. Okay, go.
oh
Please
yeah,
keep going.
and I was just gonna say, and my role at Live Oak, my title is Director of Instructional Innovation, and I like to describe that as sort of holding three different buckets. And so the first bucket is our school's makerspace, the Change Maker Lab, and it's a hands-on place on campus for students to learn through making and building things. And they come in for science, they come in for math, but it's so much more than a STEM space. They also come in for social studies and for Spanish and all sorts of things. And I love that I get to work collaboratively with our teachers to develop the projects that happen in that space. The second bucket is I really work with our teachers on curriculum across K-8. So that's why in this division director conversation, I'm excited to share how we would be partnering together. And then the third bucket is I lead our tech department as well. And so really thinking about how we use technology as a tool to enhance and deepen student learning and student creativity.
No, that's great. And you basically segued right to what we're going to spend some time talking about uh, in terms of the partnership with the lower school division director. But maybe have both of you talk for just a bit about, some of the things that Liana brought up, the themes, curiosity, investigation, change making as it pertains to the lower school. Tani, if you want to just sort of kind of kick us off about how that seeps into the curriculum, the teaching and learning for the youngest learners, and what somebody might want to know about who hasn't been at Live Oak, how all that plays out in the lower school.
Yeah, I mean, that sense of curiosity and inquiry, I would say, is what is foundational to our belief in how we teach and our belief in education. Something that we hold really important to our K-8 program and the lower school is a capacity for students to think curiously about things beyond themselves, about questions around the larger world, about our community, about their place in it. And I think those big questions, though sometimes might feel like broader than maybe a kindergartner can necessarily grasp, are the things that help them drive an understanding for why they're learning and why what they're learning matters, and how eventually they're building that foundation of how to actuate that change maker belief within themselves in the future. And so we use a lot of these larger questions, these points of interest that the students have internally, and our teachers within our co-teaching model find access points within which to ground those questions in their curriculum. And so there's a constant, I would say, energy around co-creating a learning experience in the classroom that happens between the teachers, that happens with Liana's support, and that happens with the students as well, that are crafting knowledge that is meaningful for them, that they can apply to the reality of their existence in the world.
Liana, are there any sort of really just top of mind examples, either in one of those three lanes, makerspace or general curriculum or tech, that just for you stand out as a a hallmark or exciting project or synergy with the teachers in the lower school?
Oh, absolutely. So I think when it comes to the Changemaker Lab, there are some projects that sort of have become traditions in our lower school that I really think speak to how our school values students as whole people. And I think those projects are really the ones that we do around identity in the Changemaker Lab. Identity is a major theme across our K-8, but definitely in our lower school, as learners are as our students are learning who they are as a learner. Reflecting on their identity is a big piece of what they do. And so, for example, in kindergarten, there's an All About Me unit, and the students come to the makerspace and make frames for self-portraits that they do, and it's a lot of fun because they're getting to use cardboard cutters and glue guns and sort of be introduced to the makerspace as a place, but also incorporating it into their identity work. And then as they get into second grade, they make crowns that they could wear and sort of showcase their identities very proudly in sort of really creative ways. And then as they get into fifth grade, we've experimented with a few different ways of playing with identity and making in the makerspace. And we've done writing assignments that they then reflect through sort of sculptural creations that they make in a couple different ways in fifth grade that have also been really fun.
Oh, that is awesome. And as you both think about kind of where the curriculum, the teaching and learning program is headed, uh, any initiatives or projects that are either in motion, maybe just have been implemented that would be good for a division director to know what is coming up or kind of on the horizon. Tanya, you want to kick us off there?
Yeah, a couple of things come to mind. One is really highlighting, I think, a really unique opportunity that we have in our lower school, which is a co-teaching model, where we have two lead teachers in every classroom. And one of the benefits about that, besides just that partnership and collaboration, is that there's a lot of opportunities to explore the different ways in which co-teaching exists in a space, and how different units or different groups of students might have different needs within that. And we've been really focusing, I think, this year on taking some time to support teachers in exploring the variety of co-teaching models that are out there. Some of us feel more inclined to do one or two models, and really trying to think differently about what fun creative units can we create that might lean into a different model, or might support my co-teacher differently, or where I might get some support in my growth edges. And so it creates a really, I think, dynamic opportunity for folks to lean into things that they love, and lean into some growth edges with an entire other person there to support and fruit and take risks with together with. The other thing that I'm really excited about is a redesign and the development of our Changemaker program, which historically has been part of our service learning program, and thinking about the build opportunities from a full K-8 model, and thinking about a lot of what Liana was talking about how do we help craft an identity of a change maker for our students as young as kindergarten? How do we start that process internally within our community? How do we build an understanding of social responsibility in the work that they're doing, even as young as kindergartners? And then build that capacity over the course of their years at Live Oak School, while also helping them understand the privilege that we have as part of this neighborhood, the ways in which this exists in our local community, and the way in which their work can make meaningful impacts, both within Live Oak and within San Francisco. And so we this year were able to hire a part-time Changemaker program coordinator who's helping us explore the different curricular avenues that we have for this work, the different cross-division and cross-disciplinary opportunities that we have to help kind of just explore a multifaceted ways that our students can create an identity around change making work.
No, that's great. Tanya, Leon, I want to hear some projects that are on the horizon for you, but also want to give you a chance to talk. And you hinted earlier about the partnership with the division director, and begin to segue all sort of what you're hoping for and how that role intersects with what you're doing.
Absolutely. So I would say from big picture curriculum initiatives and in the lower school in particular, some of the things we're currently working on this year or are planning to launch next year. The this year work is we are currently working on our social studies scope and sequence, and we're working on this role and this work across K-8. And so where my role around curriculum sits is sort of holding that link between lower school and middle school, but also working really closely with the division directors to make sure we're thinking about a scope and sequence that's developmentally appropriate for that division, and both honoring our rich curriculum that our teachers have already created and looking for opportunities to build and grow our curriculum and shape it around what we're seeing in the world and the topics that we're excited about. So, social studies is a project we're reflecting on this year that we're going to be piloting and launching into next year. And another one in lower school in particular that I'm super excited about is our math curriculum. We use Bridges as our math curriculum in K through 5. We've been using Bridges for about 6 or 7 years now, and we're at that point with it where we're ready for a refresh. And so going into next school year, we're going to be retraining all of our teachers on it and really supporting and sustaining that work to help our students grow their identities as mathematicians. And I love sitting in on math lessons and seeing the way students are learning math and wishing I could go back in time and learn math that way myself. I think I would have such better number sense than I do now.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. And so, just sort of to wrap it up here, and Tanya, maybe kick us off. What you hope that next division director brings to the table, or what for you are just some important priorities as you think about how that role was going to support all the great things that are going on, and be a great leader for the lower school.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think when we think about this role and the structure that's been put in place to support the incredible work of our educators, it really is that kind of first touch point with the division director, someone who comes with curiosity, who wants to explore and think about new ideas, think about the possibilities that are there. How can we make that happen? How can I support you in that work? I think we, again, are really leaning into creating spaces where we want our teachers to feel supported in their growth potential the same way we ask that of our students. And part of that is feeling seen and supported, and like they can show up as their fullest selves in the work that they do and continue to be inspired and find passion in their work every day. And what we're looking for, I think, in this role is to have someone who's really active and engaged and in their classrooms and seeing the ways in which they're trying on something new and helping the teachers get curious around all of the different possibilities that are there. We're really trying, I think, to help our teachers feel seen and supported and be able to actuate in their classrooms the way that they believe in their potential. And I think for a division director right now, we're looking for someone who can help see that potential too, and help us get to that vision that everybody is looking for.
No, it's super. Leon, any final thoughts and what you're hoping for?
I mean, Tanya, you named so many of the same things that I was thinking. So, like, just 100% building on that. And then I think truly someone who is a collaborator is the type of person who would thrive in this role, because you get to connect with so many different parts of our community. You get to connect with families, you get to connect with teachers. You're building relationships with students too. You get to work with an awesome program team. I mean, I think we're awesome. We like to work together. And so I think it's a great opportunity for someone who loves to build relationships and build deep connections with other people.
Well, I think you're both awesome, and I've come to know the school very well. It's an awesome school and great team and great leaders and great faculty. So we look forward to working with you both, and I want to thank you both for your time here today, and look forward to working with you on the rest of the search.
Great. Thanks, Gabe.
Thank-
Okay, thank you both.